We all remember what happened.
In-depth coverage now on the growing financial crisis.
How it all changed, and nothing would be the same again.
The House rejected the $700 billion bailout plan, sending shockwaves through Wall Street.
The signs were everywhere, but now it's official, we are in a recession.
The time tons of Americans would be laid off and cascaded into financial ruin. Businesses closed, stocks plummeted, and banks failed. And the worst of it all, regular people like you and I took the brunt of the hit, while those who caused the collapse got away scot-free. Does this scenario sound familiar yet? The 2008 financial crisis is what shattered the perspective on banks and Wall Street forever, as the elites laughed at those who suffered from what they had caused. However, let's rewind for a second. What if I told you there was a single genius that saw the warning signs a year before the crash would happen and bet everything he had, his money, his relationships, the company, everything, to prove his thesis right? Hitting the theaters in 2015, the movie The Big Short portrays all the hardships and criticism that Micheal Burry went through while banking everything on his theory that in the end would turn out to be true, which made him millions. Which proved the case that he's actually a genius. But you know who else are geniuses? The 0.1% of you that are subscribed. I love you all. I want to thank everyone who is supporting me so far, and with that being said, let's get back to the video. Now, a really good thing that did come out of this is that he made a bunch of people millions of dollars without him knowing, inside of a bank lobby.
Let's go.
Look at this, look at this. This guy says that the housing market's a giant bubble.
Before we deep dive into the award-winning movie, we must bring up some more information about Micheal Burry and how he even got into this position of proclaiming that the housing market is gonna fail. Basically, all you need to know is that Burry's career really picked up after he left Stanford Hospital where he was working. Burry already started a hedge fund called Scion Capital. Now, if you're anything like me, I heard the word hedge fund and immediately got upset. I guess I'm not still over the GME fiasco. Anyways, to get an insight into how much of an investing genius this guy was, we must look no further than the author Michael Lewis, who states, in his first full year, 2001, the S&P found 12%. Scion Capital, however, was up 55%. Good God, my man could probably predict the weather from next week. And well, obviously this made his investors a ton of money. And I gotta say, the movie ties this in very nicely.
Great, Michael. Whenever you find something interesting,
We all tend to make money. What stock are you valuing?
No. The fact is that these mortgage-backed securities are filled
With extremely risky subprime adjustable rate loans, and when the majority of the adjustable rate kick in 07, they will
begin to fail. And if they fail above 15%, the whole bond is worthless.
Okay, real quick, I do want to break this down, but I'm not going to make it boring, so it's okay, feel free to follow along. MBSs are a bunch of home loans that are stuck together to form a security. Now, all Michael is saying is that these MBSs are filled with shitty home loans that have adjustable rates that will inevitably go up in a year. And when they do, the MBSs are going to fail. Because it's as simple as this. Imagine you just took out a huge loan 1 year ago, and now all of a sudden next year, they raise the rates by like 3 or 4 points. That would be absolutely hell. Now, seeing this, Micheal Burry goes to the bank in the movie and asks for them to make a way for him to short the market. And you have to realize that they didn't even have a way for you to even short the market. That's how good everything was in the economy at that time. Nobody said that the economy was going to tank in any way, shape, or form. So he goes to every bank you can think of. Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, everywhere. And he's just like, yo bro, if I could just get a way to short the market through you, then sign me up, I'll give you as much money as I possibly can. Now, you gotta think, he is a hedge fund manager, so maybe he put like, what, 100 million in or 200 million in? No, this guy put $1.4 billion with a B Do you know how many Grubhub orders that is? At least 4. Now this infuriates a bunch of his investors, which come in and try to negotiate their way to get their money back, because they're rightfully pissed. I mean, hell guys, this sounds like he went all the way on Wall Street Bets, found like a small post, and just completely alled in and YOLO'd everyone's money into this one gamble.
Anyone could see that there's a real estate bubble.
Actually, no one can see a bubble. That's what makes it a bubble. Give me my f***ing money back, you motherfucker.
Now, do you remember those guys I brought up earlier, how they were in a lobby and they just found his thesis? Well, true story. They actually went through his entire thing and just calculated everything to make sure he was telling the truth and if it was even right. And it turns out it was, and they put everything they could into the bet that the housing market would crash. Just like Micheal did. Now, for like an entire year, they were losing a bunch of money. And even when signs were hitting the market like, hey, like everything's about to hit the fan, they still weren't making money because the housing market wasn't going down at that point. It was only until another year later that everything changed. 2008, everything Micheal Burry said was gonna happen did happen. Micheal Burry himself came out with $800 million. And for the rest of everyone else that took his advice, indirectly or not, well, let's just play this clip from the movie and you'll see.
Mark, can we sell now? I mean, the fund will make almost $1 billion. You'll clear 200 mil, Mark.
$1 billion.
That's right.
Sell it all.
So what's the moral of the story here? Well, let's see. Maybe just try to think for yourself and always do what's best for you. And try not to trust anyone that's a big banker or anything like that. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. This has been Money Flow. I will see you in the next video.